Hello, my name is Linnea from Linnea Loves Music, and today we're going to be talking about how to speed up your piano runs. There's nothing more satisfying than playing a piece that is so ridiculously fast. I remember the first time I ever played a crazy speedy song where the fingers felt like they were going to fall off because they were so fast. The adrenaline rush from having your fingers run that fast, there's nothing quite like it. But with that in mind, the most important thing to start off with is to start off slow. Start slow, make sure everything's accurate, and then speed it up. And believe you me, this is the hardest thing for me because I love to go fast. If you're gonna be doing fast piano runs, you need to know a few rules about fingering and the importance of consistency. So if your fingering is not consistent, as in you are playing the exact same fingering every single time, you are guaranteed gonna trip up because your fingers, in order to go to that speed, have to do the exact same thing every single time in order to build that finger memory. What are some of the fingering rules? Well, first is, so take a look at your hand, right? The thumb is so much shorter than everything else. So if you try to put your thumb on the piano on a black key, it's so much shorter, and so the reach is that much harder. And so typically speaking, you don't want to put your thumb on a black key. I should just go through those finger numbers in case you don't know them. I know we talked about them in other previous lessons, but just in case. So your thumb, this is the thumb on both of your hands, is finger number 1, 2, 3, 4, and your pinky's 5. It's really important that you don't have your thumb on a black note. So if I was, say, doing F major, many of your scales will go fingering 1, 2, 3, and then you tuck under your thumb and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if I was to do my thumb on B flat, all of a sudden I would have to flare out my elbow like that in order to reach it because the black keys are so much further and my thumb is so much shorter. If you have to all of a sudden flare out your elbow in order to reach the black note, you're not going to be able to build up any speed because you're going to be wasting so much time trying to slide that thumb up to where it needs to be. The only exception to that rule is, let's say I'm playing something where every single note is on the black keys. If every note is on the black keys, then my hand is already shifted up. And because it's already shifted up to those black keys, then it's not really an issue for the thumb to be on the black keys. The next thing that will really help you with getting really good runs is being aware of where your strong beats are and your weak beats are. And you might be wondering, I don't even know what she's talking about. But for instance, if you're in the time signature 4/4, your strongest beat will be beat 1. Actually, the easiest way to remember it is 99% of the time, unless the composer makes a special note about it, the beat 1 is always going to be your strongest beat. So the first beat in every measure is going to be strong. So for instance, let me just play a little triad thing. By having the correct accent, it's going to help to really lock your fingers so they don't accidentally go off beat. Changing your texture can also really help to bring out the crispness in your run. So one of the things that can be a challenge when you're having to go really, really fast is that everything starts to sound muffled. So you can hold on to your notes for too long, basically. So if you need to fix this in your runs, one of the things that's really helpful is to practice with staccato. And staccato is basically like a little flick of the finger. With a staccato, you'll bring much more clarity to your sound. The next thing that really helps to create really fast runs is sectional practice. And this is something that actually works for all areas of music. And it's funny because this is one of the most important things to having successful practice. In sectional practice, you take tiny little sections and you work on it until it's stronger. And then you can expand your section to be larger and larger until you're able to get the whole run. Some of the other things that are really important is working on your finger tucks. So this is when you're going to play your notes, and then maybe your thumb has to tuck under and keep going. So for instance, in your C major scale, when you start on your C, which is this note, or why don't I play the C? A little easier to see. I'm going to do finger 1, finger 2, finger 3, and then as I get to my F, I'm going to tuck under my thumb for my F, G, A, B, C, and I come back down, cross over my finger 3 to E. And the thing that you want to work on is twofold. One is having that tuck happen really quickly, so a very quick tuck. And the other is that when you tuck, you want your wrist to remain flat. You don't want to have a weird thing where you have an elbow flare. So, because if you do that, you're going to have a hard time being fast. So working on the finger tuck can really help. And I do have, if you go down below, I have fingerings for all the different scales, and that can be really helpful with working on those, and slowly speeding them up will help you to really work on your runs and on your finger tucks. The other thing that can be a good exercise is doing that broken triad. So for this, we're using the letters C, E, and G. And when you do the C, E, G, you're going to be alternating. So it'll be C, E, G, E, G, C, G, C, E, C, E, G, and then you'll come back down the opposite way. So you'll start off with C, E, G, E, G, C, G, C, E, C, E, G, and come back down. Your hand is kind of moving like this. So I kind of almost envision it like a little crab on the ocean, kind of just like crawling along. You know how they walk sideways? So it's kind of the motion that you're working on when you work on those runs. Another good exercise is the arpeggio. So this, once again, is going to have a thumb tuck, but the thing is that it's going to be wider. So when you're doing your scale, it's a very tiny tuck of the thumb and tiny crossover of your middle finger. But with your arpeggio, it's going to happen much more widespread. So the notes go C, E, G, and then you cross under your thumb to C, E, G, pinky on C, and come back down, cross over middle finger to G. So it'll go like this. 1, 2, 3, thumb, 2, 3, pinky. Once again, with that thumb tuck, you want to make sure that you aren't flaring your elbow crazy man. Another great exercise is working on your C chromatic scale. So you can technically start the chromatic scale starting on any note, but because we are starting everything with C today, I'll just do that. The rule with the chromatic scale is on your black keys, you should be using your third finger on every note, or your middle finger on every note. On your white keys, you want to be doing fingers 1 and 2. Never should finger 4 or 5 ever be used in a chromatic scale. So, and you're going to play every single note, white and black notes. So it goes thumb, finger 3, thumb, middle finger, thumb, your pointer finger, which is finger 2, middle finger, thumb, middle, thumb, middle, thumb, 2. And you'll come back down to 1, finger 3, thumb, 3, thumb, 3, 2, thumb, 3, thumb, 3, thumb, and faster. So with all of these different exercises, I really would strongly suggest that you practice with a metronome, slowly speed it up as you go, and that will help to really get up your speed for your playing. For more piano and vocal tips, I suggest you hit the likes button, comment, subscribe, and I hope to hear back from you soon, and you can check back here with me for more piano and vocal tips for your musical adventure. Bye.